Well, it is another time out with us on Issues and Trends. And as always, thanking you for being part of what we talk about, as we keep saying, where we look at social, cultural, or socio-economic and cultural political issues of our time. And of course, we not just talk about people, we talk about bringing you on this discuss very distinguished, eminent guests to x-ray the issues as they are and give us an insight into understanding possible solutions out of what we need to do, and of course what should be corrected, and of course do the imbalancing balanced the way it should be done for the best of humanity when we talk about democratic government, and of course service delivery to the people in a democracy. You know, they say a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Are the people really having their say? Is government actually listening? Where are we today when we do a comparative analysis with where we started from as a parliamentary system of government at the time to what we are talking about today? We've come a long way. This and more we'll be discussing with my guest when we return. Welcome on board and thanks for joining us. Well, it's good to have you join us again. Thank you for being there. My guest today needs no introduction, like I will say again. But if for any reason, for that reason, it is necessary to say that, well, let's do a little profiling of his persona, then we key into the discuss for today. Well, he's a Nigerian politician. He's equally a technocrat. He's as well an administrator, and of course in service to the good people of the state. He was the former commissioner for special duties and intergovernmental relations at the time in Lagos State. He is equally a diplomat, and by that standard he also is a trained lawyer. He's a Russian trained lawyer for the records as well, and he was at one time for 12 good years the chairman of APC, All Progressives Congress, APC in Lagos State, since 2016, from 2016 to 2018, when he was succeeded by the immediate past chairman of the APC, Honorable Tunde Balogun. Well, as we speak today, he is a member of the Governor's Advisory Council in Lagos State. My guest today is no less a person but Otunba Henry Oladele Ajomale, the member of the GSC in Lagos State. It is a great honor, sir, to have you join us on the program today.
It's my pleasure.
All right, let's start in this perspective of the narrative, sir. The Nigerian equation in terms of governance today, sir, the arrangement of the political machinery of governance on another perspective, to looking very critically at how governance is being seen. And of course, when we look at how people are still not satisfied in terms of their expectation for a good government and the way government should be given to them, when we look at democracy as we speak, as a government of the people, by the people and for the people. But here the people are saying, we are yet to see the impact of government, and are saying that Nigeria as we speak is not on the right path of direction when we come to good governance. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I think people are right when they say that. The expectation of the people are higher, because Nigeria is 64 years now of independence, and they're expecting something better. And the observation is that instead of going up, we're sliding down because of what Nigeria used to be. There was a time there was in Nigeria.
There was a time there was in Nigeria. How do you mean, sir?
I mean that there was a time Nigeria was in a global stage in Africa, in the world. Nigeria was recognized, and we played our part as champion in Africa. We played our part as a giant in Africa, and we were respected all over the world. That was a time. And there was a time when Nigeria began to be ridiculed by those we helped.
By those we helped.
When Nigeria was Nigeria. When Nigeria was a country called Nigeria. But today, the economy has slid down, and those who are behind us are now in front of us in so many things, and those are the ones we were helping. We helped South Africa to liberate. We helped other African countries to liberate, and there was a country that we were paying the civil service salary in those countries, and today those countries look on us as if we're someone you cannot even respect anymore. And why? When you look at that time, when Nigeria was a country that was recognized all over the world, but now we ridicule ourselves because there was lack of leadership. And the contributory factor, again, were the intervention by the military, who were not assigned to govern. They were supposed to defend.
The military.
Yeah, for so many years.
To govern.
For so many years they were there, and many of them don't even know their right from their left. But because they have the instrument of oppression in their hand, they were able to cajole us, and the economy and everything started sliding down. And our problem started during Babangida, when we were foolishly agreed to accept solution to our problem by IMF. IMF has
International Monetary Fund.
Monetary Fund has only one solution to every problem in this world. Only one solution.
Which solution is that?
You cannot continue to recommend the same remedy for so many diseases that this is the only solution that can treat those diseases. Malaria, high blood pressure, fever, everything. There's only one solution, and there's only one tablet that can solve that problem. That is where we started our work.
What's
The recommendation that we should go and readjust our currency and downgrade our currency. Nigerian currency, I have been in a country called Nigeria when Naira was exchanged for dollars for 60 kobo. 60 kobo. Exchange for $1. 80 kobo for 1 pound. Today, Naira is 1,500. 1,900 to pound sterling. How did you find ourselves in this problem? Because we accepted the IMF solution, who can sinker, without anybody querying. Why should the same solution or antidote recommended to all countries in Africa, except Europe? We were in a country, this country, when Greek was having a problem, financial economic problem, they were down, but not out. And within 2 years, they were able to recover. Because they are European, and the European bank was able to bail them out. And up to today, their currency is not like paper, toilet paper, like Uganda in those days. Nigeria is sliding towards that. And we thank God that someone was able to arrest it to the level in which, if we had followed it the way it was going, Nigeria would have been bankrupt by now. There was a time in this country when we were importing so much, some of the things that we don't even need, and there was no control. Leadership, no control.
We'll come back to that aspect of leadership and no control. But let us take it from a perspective of a comparative analysis. The comparative analysis here is looking back and recalling when, at the beginning of that time, aftermath the colonialist, imperialist regime of intervention, incursion into our political structure. Then the pioneer fathers of this country, we are privileged to have that which we call today, or what it was then, a parliamentary system of government, where we saw not only a competitive nature of administration within the regional blocks, the East, the West, the North, and the leadership respectively, competing competitively for the good of the people and the region they represent. And today the name of Chief Obafemi Awolowo remain a reference in because of the amount of that achievements and impact made at that time to where we are today. People are saying, and they're still arguing, that it would have been better if we were there, we still sustain that parliamentary system of government to that where we are today, you know, moving on and not getting it right to where we are finding ourselves in this quagmire today. What do you say to that?
Yes, it's yes and no. Because in 1959, when there was parliamentary system of government established, even before independence in 1960, there were regional governments, 3 regional governments, before Midwest was created out of the western region of Nigeria. There was parliamentary. And there was competition between western region and eastern region. There was serious competition. And things were moving. Because when you see that West has done something, East want to do it, North want to do it. And that competition made them to be outstanding. Awolowo built the first stadium in Africa, football stadium in Ibadan. Build cocoa house out of the money for agriculture because there was no oil then. They were trading in rubber, in cocoa, in palm produce and other things. And he made them to have money. And they were paying the federal government some of these proceeds. And that is how the federal government was surviving. So the federal government was responsible for foreign affairs, military, police, and other things. So, but the economy was in the hands of this premier in the region. And they were so powerful. Things were moving, there was competition. The Western region established a university in Ife. The Eastern region established the Eastern in Nsukka University. And then in the north, they established Tafawa Balewa Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. So all this competition, once one started, the other wants to do it, because they are self-sufficient, and they were able to have, when the competition is there, you see the progress was going. And at the federal level, you have the federal legislators. The Prime Minister is a member of the party that won the election and is a member of Parliament. All the ministers are members of Parliament, those who won election from their constituencies. They were able to save money because they are doing two things at the same time. They are member of Parliament and at the same time a minister. So, and they have private secretary, maybe 2, 3. And things were moving. Awolowo created the first television, the first radio station in Africa, even when France, Western Region Television came first before France established their own. And see how Nigeria was moving to that power, the world power then. But unfortunately, it was cut short. Not only by the military, but the selfishness of our bureaucracy, the selfishness of our politicians. Because everybody want to do, when the envy came in against Awolowo because of his independent on the federal economy. And they intervened into Western region to the extent that there was a battle. They created that battle between the premier and Awolowo, who has moved from Western region to the federal as opposition, main opposition leader. That is where our problem started from. And in 1966, when the military came, it became one-line command, like the military.
A central command of governance.
That is exactly what was established to run this country. They abolished all the region and took command, one-line command, which is strange to democracy, because the military head has the power to rule Nigeria from the top down. And that was how Nigeria was ruled from 1966 to 1979. And there was coup upon coup until we get to 1999. And 1999 again created another problem for Nigeria. The Constitution was written, dotted by the military, handed over to us. And within that, there was so much loophole that the military left there, a booby trap, that is creating problem for us up to today. Unless we decide to write a new constitution entirely.
Unless we decide to rewrite.
Today we are patching. And how do you patch the old cloth with a new cloth? And you expect that cloth to stand. You are patching it until there is no more patching. Why don't you decide and write a new constitution entirely? The People Constitution.
That's against what we're operating on.
That is the same problem we are still having. One line command. Even though he's civilian, but it's still one line command.
So, are you, in the context of this analysis and knowledge that you've just narrated, sir, saying that your submission would be, if we must move forward, before we go back to other concern, it will have been good, it will be better if we can write a new constitution.
People's constitution. Because a lot of denial is made within the present constitution to give power to the states. The states are the components of the federal, and they have been enjoying certain power and privileges before the military constitution came. And you say the first chapter, we, the people of Nigeria, is an isolated thing, because it's only the military who wrote this and said they are people. They are the people. The people of Nigeria knows themselves, but they did not partake in that constitution. Therefore, that constitution can never be Nigerian constitution.
Because it is not the people constitution.
It's not the people constitution. The better, even if you do these adjustments into the constitution, I will rather want people outside the present parliament to form the drafting committee for the new constitution. And that constitution must be subjected to plebiscite by Nigerians, whether it's acceptable to them or not. We must subject it to it so that it will have semblance of the people's consent on that constitution. The present constitution wastes so much power on the federal, and where it is not supposed to be so. If you want to copy America, let us copy America in total. We should not pick what we think that is our advantage and allow the other to becloud us because we are running after power. For anybody who becomes the president to have the power of life and death. And that is what is in the constitution now. So much power vested at the federal, negating the state, and the state is a component of it. So we must review it to give more power to the states. The police is commanded by the federal. The army is commanded by the federal. Of course, that is the job of the federal, anyway, to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria. But there are so many things. The natural resources belong to the federal. Even our water belong, our ocean and our rivers belong to the federal. Why?
All right, if it is a concern to you, as you said, and asking why, that gives you an insight into how Nigerians are already thinking or what their thinkings are. But asking now that, given these points you've raised, They are saying, and we are still telling them, that there is no pain without gain. But much as we give such comfort, words of comfort, of a renewed hope for them to believe and trust that things will get better, a very bitter concern here that they are saying is, what type of government are we really running? Is it presidential? Is it federal? Is it central? Or is it what? That maybe, and just maybe, maybe if we understand it, we can then be able to know, well, this is where, or this is how it should be. But in the reality, they can neither put it here, have it up here, or all they know is that we are just running a government of democratic structure. But is it presidential? They cannot say yes. Is it unitary? They cannot give an answer to that. Is it federal? That it should be as expected, given the components of the states that make up this country, and of course the way it's been structured. But we are not seeing that. Is that not a problem? And how do the present administration of Mr. President succeed with this kind of arrangement that is not really specific or specifying what it is and what it should be in terms of governance?
I told you before, you see, we are neither here nor there. Everybody is running according to their whims and caprices. We are running a unitary government, system of government. That is what we are running. And that is what the military handed over to us. It is the same system as the army. Because it's only one command, one line command. And that is exactly what is going on in Nigeria today. The president has the power of life and death. And everything is in the hands of the president. The present president, as much as we know that he can do it, no pain, no gain. But for how long are the people going to endure this pain? That is the problem. I have the absolute confidence in him that he will be able to take us out of the wood, because we will have been bankrupt by now, if not for him. And we thank God that he came to presidency at the time Nigeria needed him the most. Otherwise, we have been killing ourselves by now. We only pray because he's not the one who created the problem. The problem has been there for long. Only that everybody wants to remove their hands, spend their time, and get out of it. He's the only one that is courageous enough to be able to take certain steps to save this country. All of them. The three major contestants during the presidency said they are going to remove subsidy. So you cannot blame. This is part of his campaign slogan, that he's going to remove it. Why are you complaining now? You voted for him on that message. And if he's implementing it now, you cannot condemn him. Because you accepted it, that was why on that subject you voted for him. And he's managing the economy as much as he can. It's an economy that has been damaged beyond control. Everybody knows that. Unless we want to be hypocrites, we all know that this economy has gone bunkum. until he came and is trying his best to revive what should have been revived long time ago.
But the people are not understanding that. The people are thinking it's as easy or as rosy as saying, well, you're there.
No, it has happened.
Now let's see the magic.
It has happened in every country that has developed today. China has experienced it. India has experienced it. America too has experienced it at one time or the other. So don't tell me that it's only Nigeria that is experiencing it today. Other countries have gone through it. Go and ask Britain. Some years in those days when Britain was building up, people were eating from the dustbin. I said so. Go and check the history of Britain. Go and check the history of Russia before the revolution in 1917. People has no shoe. In the snow, they walk in the snow without shoe. Or get some wrapper, tie their legs. That is how bad it was. Today there are powers. We should not continue to complain. Let us sit down and work. If you are criticizing the government, do you have a better subject? How can we correct it? Don't sit down in opposition and criticizing for nothing. Do you have a solution to this problem? Give it to the president or give it to the minister concerned. Don't let us see it as it's not my business. It's everybody's business to ensure that Nigeria becomes a powerhouse as little, as much, as soon as possible. Nobody is clapping. You cannot clap with one hand. So let us take it. This is our country. We have no other place to go. We cannot continue to criticize the government when we don't have solution to the problems. Because you want to be a subjective opposition. Don't criticize when you yourself don't have solution to the problem we are talking about. If they give you, can you do better? Can Atiku do better than what Ashwaju is doing now? Can Obi do better than what Ashwaju is doing now? I don't know. If they were there, I don't know what the problem, what we would have been by now. But don't criticize. Join the trail and ensure that Nigeria becomes a country that we are free of poverty, free of deficiencies in all ramification. We can turn this country around. It is all our business. We are all responsible for what is going on. Because when it was going on, what did you do? What was your, when Emefiele was suffering Nigerians? When they were introducing the new money, you don't know how many Nigerians died in the process. What did you do? The Labour did not protest. They did not come out to say something. And they know this thing affect all Nigerians. They did not, one day, they did not protest. These are people that destroyed the economy of this country. You did not protest then. All of us has our blames. You can't heap it on anybody who has just been there for only 1 year. So that is my own concern. The best government, as you said, to me, is parliamentary. It saves us a lot of money, and we understand we will be closer to the government than what we have now. Because those who are ministers has nothing to lose because they are appointed, they are not elected.
Elected, okay.
So, they have nothing to lose. They are just there to do what they elected them. They call them technocrats. Everybody is a technocrat. Once you have a profession, you're just a technocrat. But let them go and face the people. The people don't run after them. They'll be running after those who are elected. House of Assembly members who are receiving salaries and allowances, that's all. The man has no business with you. He's responsible to the president. When we start electing them and appointing them as part of the parliamentary members, then they have responsibility to the constituency that brought them, voted for them. And that is, I agree with those who say this presidential system is not paying us.
Oh, unitary system, you want to say?
The unitary system that we are having. Yes, I agree with you. The unitary system we are having precluded powers from the state. Some states cannot even pay the salary except living on the largesse of the federal government. If they don't receive money from the federal government.
All right, let's take a quick break here, sir, and we'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for the time with you. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. And if you're just tuning in, it's Issues and Trends, where we'll look at critical issues as they are and of course discussing them, analyzing them for us to find a way out of the woods, for us to be able to say that yes, at this point, this is what it should be, in the right perspective, in the right direction, in the right narrative, and making democracy what it should be for the collective good of everyone. Well, my guest still is Otunba Henry Oladele Ajomale, a Nigerian politician, a technocrat, an administrator, a former commissioner for special duties and intergovernmental relations in Lagos State, a diplomat by all reckoning, a Russian-trained lawyer, a legal practitioner, if you want to say, and of course for 12 years the chairman of APC in Lagos State, looking and dissecting issues here the way we are looking at the subject matter of discourse. So I must thank you very sincerely again. But let us now look back. Some school of thoughts are saying here, and I think I want to align my thinking with theirs, that for whatever it is, even where we have a shortcoming in the structural arrangement of the governance administration, either unitary, not presidential, not federal, but people are saying that we, for goodness sake, have people elected as legislatures, that they could have played a very good role in bridging the gap for good governance to be what it should be for the good of everybody, but not seeing the impact. Rather, what we see is a contrary things we see of what they do in the chambers. And this again becomes worrying and disturbing when, rather than support the cause of good governance, what they see is personal interest, not that which serves the interest of the people they are supposed to serve. Does it bother you, sir?
Yes. That is why we are so talking about the system that we are running now, the unitary system of government that we are running. And that gives a chance to all sort of breakup, because that constitution that we were discussing before has so much impact on the progress of, or the progression of our development in this country. If ministers, the prime minister is part of them, the ministers are elected to answer to his people, it will not be what we are passing through today. If you want to have presidential system of government, for Christ's sake, let us follow the American system. Who started this? Britain is parliamentary that we were enjoying before the military took us to presidential system of government. At that time, we thought we have money because the oil is flowing. We were living on agriculture, but once the oil came, we all left agriculture and come to the city. There was a time when we were having a groundnut pyramid in Kano. The palm produce was taken away from Nigeria to Malaysia. Today, Malaysia is the highest exporter of palm produce. They learn it from us. We are even importing palm produce now from Malaysia. Let the present government rejiggle this our agriculture system, because to me, the present minister, I don't think he has taken the bull by the horn in ensuring that this food sufficiency is very important. By now, it's 1 year, and we are still having problem on food security in this country. People are crying, people are shouting, but for how long are we going to suffer? The first thing is a revolutionary thing. The president should declare emergency for the agri sector. It's time now that we consider it. You can't talk to somebody who is hungry. The onion you are buying 3 naira before jumping to 30,000, and the salary is not even up to 30,000. And use 30,000 to buy onion that you cook 1 time or 2 times for the family. Where is the money coming from? The first thing, I don't think the problem of Nigeria is to pay higher wages now. It won't solve that problem. It's just a waste of time. The first thing you should tackle is the inflation. Let the inflation go down. Let Nigeria continue to be enjoying cheaper food. You will find out that once you increase the salary now 100%, be sure that the vendors outside there are going to increase it by 100%. Where are we coming from? We are going to back to square one. And I feel that the president should consider this seriously. Because the Ajero and the others who are shouting for, they have their check-up system. The more your salary goes up, the more they take your money. So the check-up system is there. Don't think they're fighting for you. In the end, if we don't tackle inflation, inflation will kill us. And it's time now that we should concentrate on it. Let's empower the farmers. Let everybody go to the farm. Let's go back to Operation Feed the Nation. Plant anything at the backyard of your house. That is what we are now. We are in that emergency now that if we don't do that, it will consume us. Inflation will consume us. And anything can happen. And before it gets there, those who are running the economy of the country should consider that. Seriously. I'm not agitating that they should not increase salary, but they know that the ratio that you increase the salary is the same ratio that the marketers and the vendors will increase their products.
And they will be waiting for you out.
Of course they'll be waiting, they want to take their own out of it. And you'll find out at the end that the money you get will be a disaster.
Can the legislature make a difference in whatever way to complement the visionary drive of in a way? See the need that in all of this you are still talking and passionately concerned about. They are a part of the collective will of the entire citizenry of the state. But we still believe, like they said, that they can still, for God's sake, complement all of this initiative of the renewed hope of Mr. President that will still bring succor, and then let the people will understand indeed there is a renewed hope for what they see. Don't you see that as an angle to it?
My major problem, I don't want to talk too much on these senators and the House of Representatives. The system we are still running.
It's fundamental.
It's still
the fundamental
part
problem.
It's still the fundamental problem that we are facing. Everybody is running how to look after themselves. Who cares? They don't care about this country. If people care about this country, you will not be asking for a jeep of 79 million. And they are insensitive to the problem going on in this country. And that is why we said that if you have parliamentary system of government, they know that next time you want to be a minister, they appoint you as a minister, you don't win your constituency. Of course, you are not returning back. Because the people will be waiting for you. But who cares? These are appointed people. If you return them, you don't return them, who cares? They don't care. They must put that tag on their neck to ensure accountability to the people. Because they have a constituency. If they don't perform, you wait for them there. But they are the caprices of the president. The president can employ them and the president can fire them. Eye service. And once they are obedient and loyal to the president may not see anything wrong with them. But these people has no responsibility to anybody. They are not accountable to anybody. Not even their constituency, not even their state. They say you did not elect me. I'm responsible to the president, not you. And that is what we are saying, the difference between the parliamentary and even the true presidential system of government, which is lacking.
All right, at this point, I must thank you very sincerely, but I will let you go without you giving us your parting words. What will you say?
I pray.
As a very distinguished Nigerian at this time.
They change the national anthem. They should be able to have courage to change this our system that we are doing now. Either we go through presidential or we go parliamentary. To save our economy, it will be better for us to go to parliamentary system of government. But Whether the present people there now will allow us to do that, I don't know. Unless there's revolution. And we don't pray for revolution because any revolution by the people is still going to be forced. And people may die in the process. But let us think of Nigeria first. What are we leaving for our children and grandchildren coming? What are we leaving for them? That is what we should think about, all of us.
Well, that's the way we are going to end it for today on today's edition of Issues and Trends. And of course, we have been speaking with an elder statesman, Otunba Henry Oladele Ajomale, taking a critical look on the socio-economic and political setting of the Nigerian state. But for whatever it is, we still believe that we still need to work together to understand the policies of government and be able to contribute our quota. No matter the situation, let's just take time out to see how we can all collectively put our hands on deck and give a support to give meaning to whatever we are doing today. And like my guest rightly said, we'll leave a legacy that a banner that is not tainted, and the good of everybody will be seen in the truth and justice that will reign in our country. Well, thank you for today. We'll see you again sometime next week.